Hey, this is Stacia, and we are going to look at my round 3 game from Parma. It was my victorious night at Parma. I'm not going to stay in camera because that's not how I like to analyze chess. But I wanted to say welcome and let's look at this game. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so this game was against Alex Rice, and a little bit of a funny aside. Alex Rice, it turns out he's worked with the same coach that I worked with, Ben Al-Shami, National Master Ben Al-Shami, very strong player. And he just learned chess a little bit ago. Like, he came up through the pandemic. He's already like 1600 provisional. And not only that, but he played a tournament where he beat a master already. So, like, this kid to me, okay, kid is maybe, he's not a kid. He's an adult, but young, though, like in his low 20s probably, or something like that. But he seems to have some talent in my mind because he did not learn a long time ago, and he's already playing at the 1600 level. And, well, this game did not change my mind about him having some talent. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Alex played 1d4, and I had black. So I went d5, he played c4. I take knight to f3 and knight to f6. All right, so he went e3. It's not the most testing line against the Queen's Gambit, accepted that I believe there is, but there are some positions that can result that are still not that easy. So I go e6. He went bishop takes d4, just getting the pawn back. c5 for black, fighting in the center. Attack that d4 point. Castles a6. I want to go b5. My bishop is blocked on this diagonal, so I want the bishop on b7. Might as well go a6, b5, and attack the bishop. So a6, knight to c3, b5 with tempo, and bishop to b7. All right, it was at this point in the game that I was curious what he would do, because I think one of the critical approaches is when they play bishop b3, and after bishop b7, they can go queen e2. And the idea is rook d1, kind of like in the Mora, I go queen e2, rook d1. Same type of thing, where you put a rook on the d file, and white can sometimes threaten to, take or push, and there's definite pressure in those positions. If black ever takes on d4, which is not a bad move, by the way, because it's hard not to, and then if you take back, it opens up the bishop, and they'll have an isolated queen pawn, but definitely compensation for that pawn structure. So all these things were running through my mind. So bishop e2, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can't play queen e2 unless the queen wants to eat her own bishop, which, I don't approve of cannibalism, so I'm not going to go there. So bishop e7, but he went queen c2, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I think, even though this looks like a silly move to me, because my rook, could easily come to c8, on the other hand, concretely, he is kind of threatening to take, and then do something like, knight takes b5, which would unleash a threat, on the bishop on c5. So I had to start thinking about that. So I went knight b to d7. Now, if the bishop takes back, it'll be protected. So rook d1. Now he's in line with my queen. So like not too shabby. If he takes here and I take, well, if I take with a knight, I lose that. But even if I take with a bishop, my knight's pinned. And that's, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that. So queen b6 by me. And now he played e4. So I think all of the way that white is playing is pretty good. I mean, it's keeping me like reacting to what he's doing. It's applying some pressure, and I have to worry about some things, right? Like I have to worry about this pawn center. I have to worry about e5. I have to worry about d5. I have to worry about the fact that I am not castled. In fact, I'm 2 moves away from being castled. So I was not sure at all that black is okay here. Like, I was calculating things and I thought I was fine, but I wouldn't be surprised if I wasn't. Bishop e7, e5. Okay, my idea was knight d5. Bishop g5 now. I thought bishop g5 was the best move because it does create a threat here. I want to castle next. Well, guess what? If you castle, it's a blunder. If you want to pause your video and find the tactic for white, go ahead and do so now. Yeah, these sneaky kind of moves that set up a tactic if you castle, I mean, I expect strong players to play moves like that. Because if I castle, he takes this. It's remove the defender, right? And then when I take back, he wins a piece. So that's no good. So I ended up playing h6. I thought this was a testing move because if he takes on e7, I'm pretty happy. So he took here, I took, he took here, I took. He got my king to e7, but I can understand why white might do this and say, ooh, your king's on e7 and start salivating. But I did analyze this ahead of time, and I kind of thought that there's really no way for like these white pieces to come in and attack my weak pawn on g7 or anything, and I've got this square covered. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I have anything to worry about. I mean, the worst thing would probably be something like this, followed by like here, queen f3, or here and queen f6, maybe queen f6. But I don't know, that takes so long with the knight here and 2 moves to do it. So that is partially my justification of allowing this variation. The other one is that, well, my king also often ends up on e7, and it kind of benefits me because it guards the business squares on the rook invasions on the d file. So anyway, I thought this is fine. D takes c5 by my opponent. I mean, I don't know. I guess he was worried about me taking, because then no matter what he takes back with, a knight or a rook, I could take here. So I think that's why he went for this move. And now a tough decision. Do we take with a knight or do we take with a queen? I actually think both are probably fine. But with my king on e7, why not trade queens? So he takes, and knight takes, rook ac1, that attacks my knight, but I saw it. Yeah, and I thought a lot about which rook to bring over. I don't think it matters ultimately. My thought was that if I need to go rook a7 and double, this rook's able to, but the rook on h1, that, you know, that wouldn't do much. So that's why I used that rook. b3, I definitely was going to go here and attack the pawn. Like, if they do nothing, I would definitely do this. And on this move, I thought I have this. I'm going to definitely trade some stuff off at the very least. Like, if he goes here, take, I could do this if I want. He couldn't even take back, actually, right? Because of, yeah, actually I would just do this. So he can't even take the knight. So, okay, anyway, there's tricks. Those will come into play. So b3, and I went knight to e4. So now he played knight d4, and I'm not going to turn it on the engine, okay, as much as I might want to. But my opponent and I, we analyzed after the game a little bit, and he said almost right away that knight d4 is wrong. And I kind of agree. It took me a while to get there, but I think that knight d4 is wrong because the only reason to play knight d4 here, really, is to go for this trick of knight f5. So, so I played knight c3. This was my plan. And I did see that there's some tricks here. Okay, one thing I saw is that if check, right, and I take, he could potentially take my bishop. Only one problem, right? The knight is guarding. So How about sack it? If rook takes knight, okay, I would have to take back, then check. Okay, okay, I was looking at something, but if check, I do think I can just take it. If I take it and he takes here, then I have check, bishop d1. If rook d1, I'd take it. If bishop d1 doesn't seem right. So bishop f1, and then rook d8. And I actually calculated all of this during the game, and I had 12 minutes left on my clock. Are you guys proud of me? You should be, because I don't play chess well and fast very much, but I think that is what I accomplished this game. Because I saw all of this, and I was like, ooh, I think I can allow this rook takes c3. Because I saw rook takes c3 because I saw knight f5 check. And knight f5 check, you know, just win the bishop. But this does protect it temporarily, so I had to look at that. And it didn't take me long at all to figure out that it was winning for black if white actually did it. So I thought he wouldn't do it. But guess what? He did do it. And this was the blunder because everything I saw did happen. This forces a queen trade because if they move their rook, I mean, where are they going to move it, first of all? Can't move there, can't move there. So it's a forced trade. Even if they did move it somewhere random and safe, then I have that. And that's going to pin the bishop and win it. So you have to trade. f4, king e7. I actually was nervous about converting this game, but I also realized that even if I slow play this, it should be winning for me. I don't think there's many scenarios where I could draw this. So I go check and take a pawn. Okay, now that move is critical. Winning that pawn is really important because it gives a 2 versus 1. That means I can sack my rook for the bishop at any moment. And that, to me, is a huge advantage in the endgame then, because that bishop doesn't have a lot of spaces anyway. So it was at this moment that he was like, oh, you're going to win the other pawn too, which I was going to. The only way to stop it would be this. But like I was saying, I probably could even just take here. I don't think this is out of the question. And I'm going to ask the engine just because I feel like it. Yeah, black's winning. Okay. So that was that game. If I had to summarize it, I would say that my opponent didn't put the maximum pressure on me in the opening, but he did apply pressure in this slow way. And even the slight misstep of bishop e2, he proved that you can still play this way. Well, proved is maybe not the right word. I actually think that black might be slightly better in these positions. So it's not something grandmasters would do necessarily, but it was not easy to play though for me. I had to calculate a lot. I had to look out for a lot of threats. I had to defend. Maybe this is what normal chess players do, and I need to do more of it. But this game is really the story of this. And so what I will say about this is that, you know, I sometimes underestimate what it takes to just win games. And it's often not knowledge. I mean, knowledge is definitely a big factor. But performance-wise, knowledge is static. So if you do things to increase your performance, things like confidence, believe in yourself, things like calculate lines that don't work and then allow those lines, right? That's what I did here. I said, ooh, you know, I want to go knight c3. Now, the reason I saw it is because even in this position, I was like, ooh, his knight can get to d4. Ooh, he could potentially play check and take this. Why did I see that? I think it's because I practice looking at forcing moves a lot, like especially the last year. The last year or two, I've looked at a lot of forcing moves because I'm teaching it to my strong chess kiddos. And we're really focusing on that because it takes them a while to like really always look at forcing moves, just like anybody. But they're kids, so they eventually get it, and then they're way better at it than me. So that's how that works. But somewhere along the way, I stumbled and fell into improving my own skill. So I see forcing moves faster too. So I attribute all of that to seeing this ahead of time. And by seeing this ahead of time and allowing this, now my opponent, he messed up, okay? He's very capable of seeing this doesn't work, okay? And I'm kind of lucky, and I don't know if he got a little excited or what it was, but I'm kind of lucky that he, miscalculated something and went for this, because this does just lose the game, and then it's just winning. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So basically, I won 3 games. The first game, my opponent blundered and I won. The second game, my opponent played come and get me chess. So I came and got him. That's what I do against come and get me chess. So that was kind of a nice game, but I don't think I played precisely necessarily. And then this game, I was under pressure, but I still think I played well because, I mean, let's face it, when you play black, sometimes you're just going to be under pressure and you have to navigate that. So I think I did a good job playing black this game. Did result in a win. And now I will probably gain something like 80 to 90 points back. I'm not too excited about it because I do feel I'm underrated right now. Pretty sure I'm underrated. But after this, I might be back at like my more normal rating, more where I belong. And then I will try to, break through from here. I'm actually excited because I think that it's possible. I have, stopped drinking alcohol, which I've noticed clearer and quicker thinking as a result. And I wasn't even addicted. I would just have I'm just saying that I would, on most nights have a couple glasses of wine before bed. Okay, I would do that. But that's probably too much, right? It's not a healthy practice. And I think it increased my anxiety. So now that I've been off alcohol for over 60 days, I have noticed a reduction in my overall anxiety level. Okay, it's there in like a different way, but not the same way as it was before. So I do think it was definitely, a plus. And plus, I'm trying to get in better shape as well physically. That's important for chess and, well, for life in general. So why not do it? So I do think that I'm in a position to break through, but, what's the point in talking about it? The only thing I can do from here is actually do it. So I'm just letting you guys know that I'm going to be trying. I'm going to be trying really hard again. I'm ready to make a big push. I've been working with my coach only twice a month, but probably pretty soon I'm going to up that. I have a bunch of teaching coming up, so I'm going to wait for that to kick in, including Sunday class, my favorite class. That's where my strong chess kiddos are. Kiddos that I've been working with for some of them years now. And it's inspiring what they have accomplished. And I think they're helping me on my journey as well. So I'm really looking forward to that Sunday class. And then there'll be a new crop of kids getting strong. So that's exciting too. I always like to see who will emerge out of the crop that's to come. The next year of chess kiddos. There's always going to be new emergence. Kids that love chess, kids that have some talent, etc. So I know I'm just babbling at this point, so I think that's it. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.